Humanity is but a fleeting shadow, destined to chase illusions.
Grecian.
The night is heavy, and the air carries that strange silence that only comes when the world is too distracted to notice its own heartbeat. You are sitting there, perhaps in your room, perhaps in the dim glow of a single lamp, unaware that you are already holding the very thing that will be the subject of our descent tonight. You have touched it more times today than you have touched the face of any human being, more times than you have run your hand across the skin of someone you love, more times than you have clasped your own fingers together in prayer, if you even pray anymore. It is there when you wake, before the light of the sun reaches your eyes. It lies within arm's reach when you sleep, its silent presence a constant shadow in your life. And yet, even as you believe it is yours, that you control it, that you can set it aside at will, the truth that we will unearth together is that it has never belonged to you. You have belonged to it. This is the voice of the chronicler of the abyss, and I am here not to comfort you, but to strip from you the illusions you wrap yourself in, to keep from feeling the cold hand that has been resting on your shoulder for far longer than you realize. I will not scream to awaken you. I will not rush. I will speak slowly, so slowly that each word will feel like a step deeper into the shadowed corridors of your own mind. You will hear the echo of your own steps alongside mine, because you know even before I reveal its name that the object I speak of has been there all along, shaping the days of your life like an invisible sculptor who needs neither your permission nor your awareness to mold the clay of your thoughts. In the century before the world drowned itself in light and noise, there walked a man whose mind moved like a blade through fog. His name was Arthur Schopenhauer, and while others dressed the human condition in comforting lies, he stripped it bare until all that remained was the machinery underneath, cold, relentless, mechanical. Schopenhauer spoke of something he called the will, but not the will that you think of when you imagine determination or resolve. His will was older, darker, and far less noble. It was not born of choice. It was the root from which all choice grows. It was the hunger before the thought of hunger, the thirst before the memory of water, the desire before the image of what could satisfy it. It was the force that drove every living thing to reach, to grasp, to cling, and to never, ever be satisfied. To Schopenhauer, we are all prisoners of this will. It does not negotiate. It does not rest. It is blind, and because it is blind, it is cruel. And yet, it is clever enough to bind itself to objects that become the altars upon which we lay down our hours, our attention, our strength, our peace, believing the sacrifice will bring relief. But the altar never gives back. It does not bless. It only consumes. You think you have chosen these objects freely, but the will has been whispering to you long before the thought surfaced in your mind, and you, like every other soul that has ever walked the earth, have obeyed without knowing. In Schopenhauer's time, the objects to which the will could attach itself were limited by the reach of a man's hand, the walls of his city, the speed of his horse, the slowness of his letters. Desire had boundaries then, if only because the world itself had them. But now those boundaries have been obliterated. Now there exists an object that is not bound by walls or by distance, an object small enough to vanish into the hollow of your palm, yet vast enough to contain an entire world, a world that does not wait for you to enter, but follows you, breathes with you, speaks to you even in the quietest hours of the night. It is, in the truest sense, the perfect object for the will, because it contains infinite things to want, infinite reasons to look, infinite reasons to never look away. But I will not name it yet. To name it now would be to break the spell too soon, to let your mind retreat into the false comfort of recognition. You will tell yourself, I know this. I can stop whenever I wish. You would lie to yourself to keep from seeing that the truth is not in the naming. The truth is in understanding how it has built its home inside you. And to understand, we must first see how the will turns objects into prisons. Schopenhauer described life as a pendulum, swinging endlessly between 2 points, pain and boredom. When we desire something, we suffer the pain of not having it. When we obtain it, the relief is short, fleeting, and then boredom takes hold, pushing us once again into the pain of wanting. Pain, boredom, the rhythm of human existence. And if life is such a pendulum, then this object, this small, silent thing you keep within reach, is the fastest, most efficient pendulum ever created. With it, you can move from pain to boredom and back to pain in seconds, each swing feeding the will, each swing stealing another fragment of your attention, your patience, your peace. Think, for a moment, of the last time you reached for it. Were you in need? Was there some urgent demand that required you to act? Or did your hand simply move, as though pulled by invisible strings, while another part of you, the part that pretends it is in control, looked on and justified the motion after the fact? That is the will. The decision was not made in the light of your awareness. It was made in the dark, deep in the machinery of your mind, where the will has always dwelled. And the object, the perfect object for the will, is designed to be irresistible, not because of what it is, but because of what it promises and never truly delivers. You may already suspect what I am speaking of. You may feel the shape of it in your mind even now, though you try to turn away from it. But do not turn away. The abyss is not conquered by looking elsewhere. It is only conquered by staring until your eyes adjust to the dark and you begin to see what has always been there. In a moment, we will walk together into the chamber where this device reshapes the architecture of your thoughts, where the glow it gives off hides the shadow it casts, where the chains it wraps around you are light enough to be mistaken for comfort. In the abyss, the most dangerous chains are the ones you cannot feel until you try to move. And tonight, with Schopenhauer as our guide, we will take the first step toward feeling them. Once you feel them, you cannot pretend they are not there. And once you cannot pretend, you must decide whether you will live bound, or learn, for the first time, what it is to be free. Now listen carefully, because the moment of naming has come, and with the name comes the shock of recognition that most people flee from as if truth itself were a flame. The object is the smartphone, the bright little altar you cradle like a relic, the pocket-sized cathedral where the will conducts its endless liturgy, the glowing door that never closes because it has been carved into the surface of your attention. And because you have learned to open it without even noticing your hand move, and because you have made a habit of calling that reflex choice so you can keep pretending you are free. Schopenhauer would not have been surprised by its power. He would only have been astonished by its speed, because what he called the will, that blind, relentless force that wants for the sake of wanting, that covets for the sake of coveting, that burns not to be satisfied but to continue burning, has found in this device a perfect vessel, a chalice of infinite refill. A mirror that does not show your face but your hunger, multiplied and curated and served back to you in fragments that feel like meaning but are only bait. Consider how it works on you, not in theory but in the smallest motions of your day. The screen lights your eyes, flick your thumb, learns a path so well it moves before you know you have commanded it to move. The scroll unspools like a rope into a well that has no bottom, and down you go with the rope in your hand, believing you are the one holding it when in truth it is the rope that holds you. And in each motion there is a tiny promise, a spark of novelty, a flash of validation, a pinch of outrage, a soft suggestion that someone somewhere is watching you, wanting you, fearing you, loving you, fighting you, and every promise is a small surge of relief from the pain of wanting, and every relief is the opening chapter of boredom, and every boredom is a new pain that asks for another touch, another glance, another hit of maybe this time. And so the pendulum swings not across years, not across months, not even across hours, but across seconds, and your life is parceled into slices so thin they pass like dust through your fingers. You tell yourself that you are informed, that you are connected, that you are building something, a network, a voice, a brand, a future, and perhaps you are, but count the cost in the currency Schopenhauer cared about: attention, presence, serenity, the ability to sit with your own soul without demanding that it entertain you. Ask yourself how long you can keep the device face down before an itch begins beneath your ribs, a whisper resumes behind your eyes, and an ease grows in the room like a shadow that stretches without a sun. And when you pick it up again, ask yourself, honestly and without excuses, who exactly gave the order? Do you think this is accidental, that the device merely happened to become the shrine of your will? No, its architecture conspires with your hunger. Its economy is built on your restlessness. Its design is a choreography written for your instincts. Its signals are tuned not to your peace but to your reflexes, because what profits from your calm when profit grows faster from your tremor? And what thrives on your stillness when the market has learned to drink from your motion? And who sells you freedom when captivity converts better at scale? If the will is the old engine of craving, the smartphone is the gleaming gearbox that multiplies the torque of that engine until desire turns like a turbine, smooth and loud and tireless. Look at how the device becomes many objects at once, and in becoming many, it becomes unavoidable. It is a marketplace, so the will browses. It is a stage, so the will performs. It is a mirror, so the will compares. It is a slot machine, so the will pulls the lever. It is a confessional, so the will seeks absolution. It is a window, so the will watches. It is a wall, so the will hides. It is a whip, so the will punishes. It is a lullaby, so the will sleeps while still wanting. And because it is all of these, it can always claim to be necessary. And because it can claim necessity, you can always avoid asking whether you are using it or it is using you. Schopenhauer said that desire is a wound that heals only by leaving a scar that aches for reopening, and the device obliges by promising that the next image will be the balm, the next message will be the relief, the next notification will be the proof that you matter. Yet each balm is a salt, each proof evaporates, each relief dissolves into a new ache, and so you keep touching the screen the way a tongue cannot help returning to a sore tooth, not because it helps, but because the pain has become a landmark in your mouth. You think the device gives you the world, but notice how the world inside it is curated to maximize agitation. The faces you envy are arranged beside the faces that enrage you. The pleasures you crave are threaded through the fears you cannot resist. The tragedies you cannot fix are spliced between jokes that barely make you smile. And the result is a nervous system perpetually on the cusp of reaction, a psyche trained to twitch, a spirit taught to equate motion with meaning and noise with life. And if you doubt that this is a trap, put it down for one uninterrupted hour and count how many times your hand rises of its own accord to where the device used to be, like a phantom limb reaching for a missing weapon. Let me show you the abyss not as metaphor but as daily routine. A person wakes and reaches before remembering their own name. A person sits with someone they love and glances away in the middle of a sentence without noticing they have just chosen a shadow over a face. A person plans to read, to think, to pray, and within minutes finds themselves staring at a screen that has somehow already turned the plan into a memory. A person goes to bed exhausted and still taps the glass for a final dose of nothing, as if the night will not accept them without the password of one more look. And when morning comes, the loop will begin again, not because the person is weak, but because the will is tireless and the object is perfect. Ask yourself, calmly and without drama, what the device takes first. It takes your solitude, because every silence becomes an opportunity to look. It takes your boredom, which Schopenhauer saw as necessary as pain, because in boredom the soul remembers itself, but with the device there is no boredom, only a low-volume noise that never shuts off. It takes your patience, because the next thing is always faster than the thing you are doing, and soon nothing slow can hold you. It takes your memory, because the stream replaces recollection with endless replacement. It takes your sleep, because the blue glow lingers in the mind like lightning behind closed eyes. And then, more insidiously, it takes your confidence, because comparison corrodes gratitude, and gratitude is the only ground strong enough to hold peace. Schopenhauer would say none of this is new in essence. The will always found objects. The difference is scale, velocity, proximity. Before, the altar stood in the marketplace or the tavern or the bed. Now the altar fits in your pocket and lights at a touch, and so the sacrifice can be continuous, and because it is continuous, you forget you are sacrificing at all. You call it staying informed, you call it keeping up, you call it resting, you call it just checking. But if you could watch yourself from the ceiling for one day, you would see a ritual repeated with such devotion that any ancient god would envy your piety. And yet, hear this clearly, the device is not evil in itself, as a knife is not evil, as fire is not evil, as wine is not evil. The danger lies in the marriage between the device and your will, in the way it feeds your hunger without nourishing your soul, in the way it accepts your time without returning you to yourself, in the way it offers you 1,000 voices to drown out the one voice that would have told you the truth if only you had let the room remain quiet long enough. The abyss is not in the glass. The abyss is in the pact you have made with it. If you want a test that does not lie, try this. Place the device face down and sit with nothing but your own breathing for 5 minutes, no sound, no images, no movement, and listen to what rises. If what rises is relief, you still remember a place within you that the will has not conquered. If what rises is panic, if what rises is an itch you cannot scratch, if what rises is the sense that you are wasting time by being with yourself, then understand that the prison door is not locked from the outside, it is held shut by the habit you have trained into your own hand. What then would Schopenhauer advise, standing here in our century with its luminous chains? He would not promise happiness, because he believed happiness a mirage. He would speak instead of liberation from the compulsion to chase, of loosening the grip of the will by starving it of the constant feast, of choosing fewer objects and allowing more quiet, of practicing a form of asceticism suitable for our age, not the rejection of life, but the rejection of the incessant distraction that keeps life from ever beginning. He would tell you to reclaim boredom as a sacred space where desire loses momentum and another kind of awareness can surface, a calmer gaze that sees without grasping. And I, the chronicler of the abyss, tell you this: if hell is the place where nothing is ever enough, then the device in your hand is a furnace that burns without flame. And you feed it with minutes and attention and tenderness you meant to give elsewhere, and it rewards you with a warm glow that looks like light but is only heat. And the longer you hold it, the more your fingers forget how to touch anything that isn't tea glass. Yet even here there is a door, and the door is not far away, and the key is not hidden. The door is the moment you notice the chain instead of denying it, and the key is the choice to let a silence remain a silence, to let a face remain a face, to let a thought finish forming without being interrupted by 10,000 other thoughts that were never yours. We will not end here, because to end here would be to leave you in accusation without offering practice, and accusation alone breaks the spirit. In the next descent you will learn how to bend the pendulum back, how to make the device serve the soul rather than swallow it, how to train your hand to be slow where it has become fast and your gaze to be deep where it has become thin. And though Schopenhauer did not believe in easy consolations, he did believe that the will can be understood, and what can be understood can be suffered with less cruelty, and sometimes that is the difference between a life spent running and a life finally walked. For now, place the altar face down. Feel the tremor and do not call it failure. Call it evidence. Call it the first honest measurement of how tightly the will has wrapped its fingers around yours. And when the tremor passes, if it passes, look around your room and find one thing that does not ask anything of you: a chair, a window, a sleeping animal, your own breath, and give it the gift that the device never wanted from you, the gift of stillness. You think you own it, but the truth is, it owns you. This object, this small piece of metal and glass you keep within arm's reach, is no longer a tool. It has become the architect of your attention, the sculptor of your desires, the puppeteer pulling the strings of your will. And Schopenhauer, if he were here to see it, would tell you that it is the perfect embodiment of the force he spent his life describing: the blind, restless, insatiable will. He would not speak of it as a harmless device. He would speak of it as a modern altar, where you offer up the currency of your life, your minutes, your thoughts, your peace in exchange for illusions that dissolve faster than smoke. You scroll, you tap, you refresh. You think you are in control, but your eyes betray you. They follow the light. They chase the movement. They search for the next spark, the next hit of novelty, the next chance to escape the discomfort of silence. And here, in this restless pursuit, you are no different from the characters in the tragedies Schopenhauer saw all around him: beings driven by a hunger that can never be fed, prisoners who decorate their own cells. But here's the part no one tells you: the prison is not the device. The prison is the endless stream of desires it awakens in you, and every time you obey, every time you submit to the call of that glowing screen, you tighten the chains. It becomes a ritual, an unconscious bow to an unseen master. You wake, you reach for it. You feel lonely, you reach for it. You feel anxious, bored, uncertain, and there it is, waiting to cradle your mind in distractions. But the cradle is lined with chains. The mind that once wandered through vast landscapes of thought now takes its steps in a tiny fenced garden. You no longer walk through forests of reflection. You pace through corridors of prepackaged images and borrowed opinions. And yet, the strangest thing is this: part of you knows it. Part of you feels the slow decay, the loss of something essential, like a musician who realizes his instrument has gone out of tune but keeps playing anyway because the crowd doesn't notice. Schopenhauer would not waste words on comforting lies. He would tell you that liberation begins the moment you stop seeking entertainment from the very thing that drains you. But the path out is not through destruction. Smashing the object will not free you, because the hunger it feeds lives in you. The first step is to see it for what it is, a mirror of your own restlessness. A mirror you carry everywhere, not to see yourself as you are, but to see yourself as the world wants you to be. And once you recognize that, something shifts. You begin to notice the invisible hands, the way your thumb moves before you decide to move it, the way your mind aches when it's been away from the glow for too long. You notice the silence between the notifications and you feel it like a foreign sound, strange and unnerving. This is the withdrawal of the will. The part of you that has been feeding on constant stimulation will begin to starve. And in that starvation, you will meet something you have forgotten, the ability to be still. Stillness is dangerous to the forces that profit from your attention. It is the light in the dungeon, and if you can hold it even for a few breaths, the walls of your prison begin to show their cracks. You realize that the world inside that screen is not the world, it is a shadow, a reflection, a labyrinth designed to keep you walking without ever arriving. And once you've seen the labyrinth for what it is, each step you take inside it becomes a choice, not a compulsion. But beware, the will does not die easily. It will whisper to you. It will tell you that you deserve a break, that you might miss something important, that you are simply checking in. And in that moment, you will have to decide if you are the master of your mind or just another passenger in a vessel steered by unseen hands. This decision will not be made once. It will be made every hour, every day, for as long as you live. That is the true challenge. Not to escape once, but to keep escaping over and over until freedom becomes your nature. And so I ask you, how many more hours, days, or years will you offer to this object before you realize the cost? How much of your life are you willing to exchange for the constant hum of digital seduction? The abyss is not a place. It is a pattern. And the deeper you follow it, the more it feels like home. But it is not your home. You were not born to kneel before a screen. You were born to see the world without a filter, to feel its weight and its wonder in your own hands. And if you can remember that even for a moment you have already begun the long walk out of the Inferno, you will not notice the moment it happens. No one ever does. The descent is quiet. The steps are small. A tap here, a scroll there. The hours dissolve into a mist that no clock can measure. You feel productive, informed, connected. But in truth, you are wandering deeper into a hall of mirrors where every reflection is designed to pull you further from yourself. Schopenhauer warned that the will is endless, and when it finds a perfect object, it will drain a person until nothing remains but the shell of their routines. The object in your hand, the one glowing in the darkness, is not evil by nature, but it is the will's most obedient servant. It will give you exactly what you crave again and again, until craving itself becomes your identity. And here lies the trap: you will never reach the end of its offerings. You can search for a lifetime and find only more to search for. You can feed your mind endlessly and still feel hungry. This is not an accident. This is the design. The infinite scroll, the endless feed, the bottomless well, it is the modern embodiment of the Inferno, not as a place of fire, but as a state of being where you are always reaching, never holding. Imagine this: the screen goes dark, the signal fades, the voices, the images, the constant drip of novelty gone. At first, you feel an ache, a tremor beneath the skin, as if something essential has been taken from you. But if you endure that ache, something else emerges, a different sound, the sound of your own thoughts. Thoughts not placed there by strangers, not tailored to fit your fears or your hopes, thoughts that are yours. Schopenhauer would call this moment a return to reality, a step away from the puppet strings. But he would also warn that reality is heavier than illusion. Illusions are light. They can be carried anywhere. Reality demands you stand still and face it. And in that stillness, there is discomfort. You will want to run back to the glow. You will want to forget the cracks you've seen in the walls. This is the moment the will fight hardest to reclaim you. If you surrender here, you will sink back into the endless stream, and the Inferno will welcome you as if you never left. But if you stand, if you refuse to kneel before the glowing altar, you will see something rare: a horizon, a line between the prison and the open air, between the curated shadows and the raw, unfiltered light. This is the choice every soul must make: remain in the labyrinth where every path leads you back to the start, or step into the unknown, where no one controls what you see. Freedom is not given, it is taken, and it is taken back again and again, each time the will tries to drag you into its furnace. Perhaps you think you are strong enough to hold both worlds to touch the screen without being bound to it. But strength is not the absence of temptation. It is the refusal to serve it. And each time you resist, you weaken the chains. Each time you delay the impulse, you take a step away from the fire. There will be days when you fail, when you find yourself deep in the stream, hours lost to the pull. But even then, you are not lost forever. The path out remains as long as you choose to see it. And each time you walk it, you remind yourself that you are not here to be a slave to the next notification, the next image, the next illusion. You are here for more, and if you have heard these words, you already know it. So I will leave you with this: the Inferno is not somewhere you go when you die. It is the place you live when you surrender the only thing that was ever truly yours, your attention. Guard it as you would guard your life, because they are the same thing. Now, ask yourself, will you put it down, or will you keep holding it while it holds you?